for today, we got a very, very important topic, and that is about persuading a seller to actually accept your offer. So there's a lot of effort that goes into just being able to make an offer, to find deals. And today, I'm going to give you three of the top tactics that you're going to find very valuable as you are making your offers that you can use to go ahead and win deals once you get them. Because sometimes, especially last year, and even still in today's market, you're not the only person that's making an offer on one of these deals. Oftentimes, there's several other people that have made offers, will be making offers, and you have to find a way to stand out, right? So if you do not do that, then that will keep you from getting deals, even though you have submitted your offers, right? So we're going to get into that today. I've also got a useful resource. You're going to find that extremely valuable as you go out and try to write deals. It's a list of questions. So you hang it to the end. We'll talk about that. And then if you like it, I can share it with you after the meeting is done, either from me or from somebody else from our team. So that for those who are new, Jason Stubblefield, you should be seeing my screen right now. Yeah, there we go. So this is our website, Real Apartments, RILapartments.com. Over here, you can learn more about us. You can see about our team, sort of the strategy. We have a focus in affordable housing, which is a very unique niche within apartment community, but something that we found a lot of traction in and hopes to expand going forward. If you want to hear about those deals as they come out, as we bring those deals to market, if you're looking for passive opportunities, click on that Invest Now tab. That will take you to a brief form. You fill that out, sort of puts you in our world so that we can have a conversation and see if the type of deals that we're doing is something that may be beneficial to you or not. Also, if you want to see some of our portfolio deals that we've closed, just scroll down there. Basically, just navigate through the site if you want to know who we are, if you haven't heard of us before. So, all right, for today, I want to be quick. This should not be a very long live video. So I want to come in, give you our 3 tactics, and then sort of move on. But let's go ahead and make it happen. So I'm going to hop right into it. Tactic number 1. This one is about knowing your maximum offer price. So I've done other live trainings where we talk about how to come up with an offer price. But once you get to an offer price, let's just call it, for this example, $10 million. You evaluated a deal. You want to offer $10 million. How do you get to that price? Well, it's going to be based off of the amount of returns you want to make for your investors. If you don't have any investors, you're doing a deal by yourself. It's just going to be based off of what you're looking for. So for us, like, we won't go anything lower than maybe a 6% cash on cash and 13-14% IRR. That's our minimum threshold. So as we look at a deal, we'll sort of see like what our maximum price is, right? And let's just say in this example, your max offer is $10 million. So from that, you want to go anywhere from 5 to 10% lower than that when you make your initial offer. And so that allows you to have negotiating room. I've done this before. You underwrite deals, you see what works, you write your best offer as your first offer. And so once you send that out to a broker or to a seller and they evaluate it, you're probably going to get countered, right? And they're going to say, well, hey, we want you to do this. We want you to put in more money. All right, so what we do is we automatically start 5 to 10% lower than that. So we've got that wiggle room, and we also know a price at where we're willing to walk away. All right. And so walking away from deals is something that you may have to do if it just does not work for you. And don't be afraid to do that. But now that you know what your maximum offer price is, you could play within that range. And if you can get a better deal, then get a better deal for you and your investors. I'll say this though, do not be afraid to offer above the asking price. So I know this deal, I know where it's located at, and it still pains me to this day, in this moment. But we lost a deal that we really liked last year because they had an offer price or a whisper price that the broker wanted was like 11 million or something like that. And we underwrote that deal and the spreadsheet lit up. I mean, the numbers were off the charts. We were ecstatic for what we could do for our investors. And so we wrote an offer, but we tried to stay around 11 million because that's what the broker told us, right? Obviously, we went a little bit above it when we made our offer, but we lost the deal to another group that maybe offered $2 million more than what we did. And we could have offered probably close to what they did. So I say that to say, when you look at a deal, if it makes sense, don't limit yourself to just what the offer price is, right? If you find a deal and it's a great deal and you can do a little bit more, you may want to do a little bit more. Now, if you know that this is it's an off-market deal, the seller doesn't have anybody else to talk to, just offer them the price that's going to get the deal done. But if you're in a situation where it's coming from a broker, maybe there's multiple bids on it, which if you do come across a hot deal like that, there's a good chance that there may be multiple bids on it. Don't be afraid to go above asking price. And with this, I use this strategy in single family homes as well. When I was making an offer, I would say to myself, if somebody else paid more than what I'm paying, how would I feel? If I'm jealous that they got that deal for that price and I would have paid it, I probably need to go to that price. But if they paid it and I'm like, good luck, buddy, you know what I mean? That's on you, then you can feel pretty good. So that's just the internal test that I'll use as you're looking to make an offer. All right. Knowing that, method number 2 is very powerful. That's proving your ability to close. So know this, sellers care just as much about your ability to close as they do your offer price. So we've sold assets and oftentimes they don't go to the highest bidder. They can, but they also cannot. So if you've got one offer that say $200,000 above another offer that you have, but the highest offer, they don't look experienced, they don't show a track record, they don't own anything else, you can be a little bit concerned about whether you want to take a potential $200,000 haircut just because that owner hasn't showed you what they really can do, right? So as you making an offer, you want to make your offer, but also prove your ability to close. So how do you do that? How do you prove your ability to close? Well, you want to make an offer, and some people would just send off a LOI, but use these tactics I'll give you here, right? One, they want to know who you are, right? They want to know, what do you own? What's your current portfolio look like? Who's your property manager going to be? Have you done any sort of due diligence, right? Contingencies that are going to be in your offer. They will consider, where's your equity source coming from? And what sort of assumptions have you made in your underwriting, right? So let me go ahead and share my screen right now so you can sort of walk through this with me. All right, so that should be popping up here soon if it's slow. All right, so here, right? Proving your ability to close, right? You have these questions that every buyer or broker is going to be concerned, right? Or they're going to be curious about these things. So what you can do is you can answer those questions before they ask you. So what we do is when we're making an offer, we want to answer as many of these questions as possible in our offer. So instead of just sending the LOI, we may send the LOI along with our lender letter that says, hey, we're going to fund this deal up to a certain percentage amount. We'll also include a story or in a letter about our company, what we own, what we bought, if we bought in the market before. And we also try to build some rapport, right? What's our equity look like? And then give a warm and fuzzy to that buyer as we're writing the letter to them, right? So So all those things are done. But think about this though, as you are writing an offer, say you got a $10 million offer, there's somebody else with a $10 million offer, but you've got a lender letter, you told them who your property manager is, you've included where your equity is going to come from, you've given them your track record, and somebody else just has an LOI saying, I'll give you 10 million. Obviously, you're going to take the buyer that came in stronger before. So what did I say that I would share? Right. So I've got this document right here. It's buyer questionnaire. This is really going to give you a good indication of what you can expect potential questions to be as you are making your offers. So if you can answer these questions ahead of time, or at least be prepared for them as you make your offer, you'll be in good shape, right? Who's the key principals? Who's signing on the note? Have you toured the property before? Recent activity, like how many deals have you purchased in the last 12 months? If you haven't bought a deal before, obviously you can't speak to this, but if you or somebody on your team has, then you want to be able to include that too. Who are you using for property management? You have to think about your offers in a way from a seller perspective or a broker perspective. This document, property management, and what I was saying is, if you don't know these things, it's a red flag to a buyer or a broker, right? As you are, as you're making an offer and a broker asks you who's your property management, and you don't know, you haven't thought that far out, there's a good chance you don't know what else you're doing, right? Because you should be working heavily with the property manager on your deals. Also, they may want to know your due diligence process. Are you going to walk all the units? Are you not going to walk all the units, right? So you want to be able to speak to that. And where's your equity going to come from? So you want to be able to think about these things ahead of time to be able to answer those questions. And Alvin, if you're looking for this document, just shoot an email to us. We'll make sure you get it. So you can have it for future references. But it's super valuable to think about these things before you make an offer. And then where we're going next will also allow you to add some more color to that, right? So the third thing is, like, once you make an offer, you're going to want to connect with the seller, right? So you may go to a broker, you may be direct to seller, but at some point, even if you are with the broker, you want to be connected to the seller. We had a deal some years ago. It got very contentious. We were going back and forth. Seller wanted this, I wanted that. It was just it wasn't a smooth transaction at all. And I was able to get on the phone with the seller, was able to meet him at the property a few weeks later. And I remember sitting in his truck, right? We were just sitting there talking. And from that point on, it was just a smooth transaction. There was no more back and forth. There was no more bickering. We had each other's cell phone numbers. So we just sort of talked it out. But a broker's going to be involved in most occasions. So make sure that the broker feels good. They're going to get their commission and their fee. But as soon as you can, you also want to let them know that you are, what is happening? You want to let them know that you're a real person and that you're able to work together sort of like a partnership, right? You want to be on opposite sides of the table. You want to be on the same side of the table trying to get this deal done. Now, moving on, a lot of deals can happen or happen better with seller financing. And seller financing is a great negotiating tactic that you can get. You can get into deals with less money. You can obviously buy anything with the right financing strategy, right? So how do you do that with seller finance? Well, the first part is just connecting with the seller, right? And make sure that you have a good connection, that you got rapport, that you've just sort of let them know who you are, right? Not be so rigid and just talk all numbers, but try to establish some sort of relationship. If you want to present seller financing, the terminology that we use is, whether speaking to the broker or the seller, right? Are you willing to get creative? Is the seller willing to get creative? You do not want to start out a negotiation saying, I want you to finance me right off bat. Again, going up, people are concerned about your ability to close. And if right on their first introduction to you, you're asking them to fund all of your down payment, Well, you just don't seem like a very credible buyer in the first place, right? So saying, are you willing to get creative, sort of lets them open the door or close the door about what they're willing to do. And if they say, well, yeah, we're willing to get creative, there's some psychology in that too. I mean, who doesn't want to get creative? But anyways, it's just a way to lead into seller financing. Once they say yes, now you can start to pitch your ways of closing, right? Well, if you finance my down payment, or if you offer some sort of seller financing, or if you take back a note, then we might be able to do the deal. And as you're thinking about seller financing options, we always like to make it a win for them, right? So you want to think in terms of that seller, right? What would be a win for them? Maybe they have, maybe you can give them more money, right? So if you've got a calculator and you've ever played around with a amortization schedule, do the interest rate at like 0% and just see what that does to a deal. So we can offer more money if we can get the seller to agree to just not take any interest, or take very low interest on a secondary note. So that's a way that you can increase your purchase price. They may also be in a position where they're going to be concerned with taxes, or how much they're going to have to pay if they sell this. So you can present to them the tax savings that they could get as if they accept some sort of financing note. So as you approach that, first of all, start with, do you want to get creative? And then think in terms of the benefits that they will receive from it, right? Finding out their motivation, just getting them to talk to you. Once you know what they're looking to accomplish or what their pain point is, you can cater your offer around what they need. So if they're worried about taxes, then make it about taxes. If they're worried like, hey, I really need to get to a certain price, okay, I can get you to that price, but finance me at 1% interest, or 0% interest, or maybe even 5% interest, whatever works. So that's it. If you use those tactics, you'll find that you appear very strong from the very beginning. And even on deals where you may not win them, once a broker sees that you've taken that much effort, they want to find you a deal, right? I've had brokers that have, fought for me and said, hey, we didn't get you that one, but they're so excited to give us another deal because we show so much track record and put so much effort into that initial offer. So if you take those things and do it that way, you should find better offers, get more acceptance, and being able to build up a relationship that will last and help you do deals in the future. So, all right, let's open it up a few minutes to see if we got any questions coming up. Let's see. Would it be possible to have access to the recording? Yes, James, you could get that. Not a problem. Other than that, Irish, I don't think we see anything else, do we? No questions. This is pretty straightforward. All right. If nothing else, well, appreciate you. Thank y'all for joining in. I'll be here next week, Friday at 11 o'clock. We're talking everything multifamily. Jim would like a copy of the document we showed. So, yep, I'll get that to you, sir. Not a problem. All right.
One thing I would just say, Jason, is if you only make one offer, like, okay, I'm going to give you 10 million and these are the terms, then, and you know that there's not that much heat on the offers, then the seller only has one thing that he can really respond to. So sometimes, especially on smaller properties, I'll give them 5 options. And I have a whole spreadsheet on that, but all of them work for me, and some of them work better but they all work for me. And I think one of them will probably work for the seller. So if he's got a tax situation, that's fine. If it's underperforming, I can get him his price, but not now. It's going to be later after I operate the property, maybe a master lease option or something. I just put down a master lease option on 108 units. So, yeah, so that way they have to say no 5 times, or they have to or 3 times or however many you put. And you know, you can, and they can modify some of them too, but that way you get more into the conversation of finding out what the seller really wants. It's got a tax issue, whatever. Now, if there's 15 people putting offers in, you can't do that method. But if it's an off-market deal, or you have a relationship with a broker, you can do that. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother class. But
Yeah. I remember that. That's why I love having Jim on, y'all, because he's always got creative ways to do things. I remember you saying that before, right? How you can make multiple offers, just give them 3 options, 5 options, whatever it is, and then that way they can sort of pick. So another one, y'all got a bonus there, a bonus way of making offers out there. So good stuff. Anything else before we wrap it up for today?
I was just gonna say I like that what James said, because what you're doing is you're giving them the creativity to think right off the, you know, if they, are you willing to be creative? But you put the creativity right in front of them. And
Absolutely.
I like that.
Yep.
yeah, some people like the cash flow, but they don't like the tax. They don't want to do a 1031, and they don't like the tax bill that they're going to pay. I just had a massive tax bill on a property I sold. I couldn't even believe it. If I would have known, I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to get into that, but it was so big. I had to go to the change my whatever. So so my point is that if somebody would have come in and just given, you know, like a master lease option, you can give them pretty much the same cash flow, but they don't have any more tenants and toilets to deal with. And then you can decide when you're ready to, then you can get the property operating the way, you know, but like if it's $200-$400 under market, and you know you can get there pretty quickly without a lot of capex, then maybe in a year or two, you can then hit your strike price, which is based on today's numbers. And that gives you more time and more creativity. Plus you can sell the lease, you can sell the option, you can sell both. You have a lot of different ways to generate revenue. So anyway, I'm sorry, Jason, I'm not trying to, the stuff you had this morning was really good. I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you contributing to it. So yeah, that is awesome. And those tax bills, they hurt, right? So you get recapture tax and all the other stuff. And you're like, what happened? So keep that in mind, because that is very motivating for sellers. So all right. Other than that, I appreciate y'all. Be the best version of you, because it'll make you the happiest. And I'll see y'all next week. Take care.